Cool. Right, I'm just going to bring up my Twitch
Yep.
dashboard, and then we'll press on a bit.
Cool.
Dashboard. Okay. But yeah, it seems to all be working. This is amazing because, as I say, it's been nothing but trouble. The last two streams I done, Monday was an absolute crock of crap, and then sorry, it was yesterday when I was playing drums yesterday, and the microphone, it just didn't work. So, which was not good. Okay, manage stream, bring that up, and then we'll just rock and roll. Cool. So it is the fourth episode of Down the Local. Hard to believe that we've already got this far. I honestly didn't know how this would go when we very first started doing this. So if anyone's watching for the first time, it's essentially just a football chat, kind of over a beer, just like you would down your local pub on a Sunday afternoon. So it's encouraged that we kind of get involved with the chat. Obviously today, as these have been going on, it's been getting a bit more structure. So me and Neil today have obviously got a few things that we want to bring up, which could be seen in the title. So we're going to be discussing that and running the rule over it a bit. So we hope you've all got your beers at home and you're ready to join in. So please say hello in the chat, pipe up. Obviously to do the usual plugs, if you go further down the page, you can see some of the things, some of my referrals, and there's also, we actually have merchandise now, Neil, believe that. Merchandise. You can buy a Down the Local t-shirt.
Can you really? Have you got yourself one yet?
It's on order.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
I think if you got to plug it yourself, haven't you?
You got it, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Too right. I can't be wearing this shirt. No. I look like someone's put clothes on a dog. So, but yeah, obviously Monday. Yeah, just to address Monday. Monday was terrible. I mean, for a debut though, I wanted to ask you, on a scale of Ali Dyer to Wayne Rooney, how do you think your debut went?
Oh, it was well, I think technical issues to start with, but we persevered. We got there in the end.
We done a great job. I thought.
Yeah, and I thought and we must have been interesting for a lot of people, because there were still people on when we were still talking, and that ended up being what, 10:30?
10:30, yeah. I know, crazy. So usually I try and aim to kind of go on for about an hour and a half. I think I said to you. I mean, the first time me and Matt done this, I was like, I don't even think we're going to be able to fill an hour. And we were still sat here after an hour and a half just chatting absolute bollocks. So so yeah, we ended up extended to an hour and a half, and then I think when we done the England special, that went on for 2 hours, and it was only purely because I was sitting here crossing my legs that we kind of had to end it. So I was gasping for a wee. That's the only problem with doing a show where it's kind of encouraged just to sit down with a pint and have a chat, really. So
yeah, I mean, if this was really Down the Local, I'd have had to have gone 3, 4, 5 times on Monday. So
yeah, just to point that out for anyone who's kind of opposed to the drinking, it's just part of the mystique of the show. It's not encouraged to throw beers down your neck.
Yeah, excess alcohol,
especially on a school night. Hence why we do it on a Monday and a Thursday. Hopefully, going forward, people will feel a bit tender on a Monday and they won't be wanting to drink. So, I hope. So, so I mean, yeah, pressing on. Let's crack on. You brought it to my attention today. I didn't actually know until I read this when you pointed out that PSG have just been awarded the Ligue 1 title.
Yes.
Obviously, that's to do with France. As far as I understand, they are stopping all sports now until September, I think.
They are, yeah. They set themselves a deadline, I think. UEFA had set them a deadline of all matches have to be completed by the 30th of June.
Okay.
And Ligue 1 had basically said they didn't think they could fulfil that. So they've decided to just stop the season, but they've awarded the title to PSG. But there's not been any announcement of what's happening with the league overall. So they've not announced if the teams who are in the bottom section are getting relegated, teams coming up. Nothing like that has been announced. It's literally just that they are going to give the league to PSG.
Okay. Okay, thoughts? What do you think about that?
I think it sets a precedent. Looking at the league table, PSG are 12 points clear with 11 games left. And if we're saying that Liverpool
33
shouldn't
points
be,
to play for, isn't it?
Yeah, but if we're saying that Liverpool shouldn't be given the league because they haven't won it yet, but they're 25 clear with 9 games left, it's kind of a mismatch. And I think at some point there has to be a ruling put down by FIFA or UEFA and say this is the situation.
Yeah.
It all has to stop, because as soon as you start leaving it open to individual leagues, it's going to create havoc coming next season.
That is true. I mean, but at the same time, can you not? Do you also see that as, because they've now kind of, they've waved the flag? It's now done and done with. At least you can look forward to next season.
Yeah.
Whereas in arguably what's going on in England, by sort of trying to drag things out, trying to get the games played, that's maybe going to start eating into next season, cause a bit of a domino effect, a knock-on effect.
Exactly, and I think that's where if you're going to have a couple of leagues say this is going to be the situation, we're stopping it now, it's got to then be followed by everyone. You can't just leave it open. As I say, if you leave it open to the individual league, UEFA there is a governing body. Yeah, they've got to govern at some point.
Yeah, I mean, they've surely got to have sanctioned this and had some kind of say in this.
Yeah. I can't imagine. They've set their date, and Ligue 1 have said we're not going to complete the fixtures. Now, if Ligue 1 don't think they can complete 11 games by the 30th of June, admittedly, it's only 2 games left, or 2 games less for the Premier League. Yeah. But you're not going to have those games being played for another month at least. Yeah. So it's not a significant enough difference to suddenly say, well, we think we can still get it done.
Yeah, because I mean, we were talking, so 11 games, if you was to play, for instance, a game every 4 days, we're talking 44 days. But
then I think with the amount of time that people have had off, do you not then feel that getting teams to play games every 4 days will only benefit the teams with the bigger squads?
It will, yeah. But that's not a reason to give PSG the title.
No, exactly, it's not. But then PSG have probably got the biggest squad of first choice players available.
Arguably in Europe, yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely in one in Europe. But I think my interest, the interest I've got, is what they then do across the rest of the league. Because if they're saying that they're going to expunge the league and give the title to PSG, then essentially they're saying we are finishing the season as it currently stands. Yeah. They can't do that to PSG and then not award whoever is top of the second division promotion in the league. Yeah,
it's got to follow. What happens with relegation and
exactly.
And have they announced what's obviously they've not said anything about like Champions League or European qualification yet.
No, I've not. Well, literally all that's come out has been the French league has decided that, or the French FA have decided that they are going to stop the league. Then there's not going to be any resumption of it, and PSG are going to be awarded the title.
It just seems a bit kind of slapdash.
Yeah.
I think that there's, I don't know, it needs to kind of be governed across Europe, doesn't it? I don't know. I mean, having said that though, Eredivisie last Friday announced that the league was ended, and Ajax weren't awarded the title, and there was no relegations, wasn't there? So I mean, they seem to have clarified that quite early on. It was it was a dead rubber, and that's it. They've chalked this one down to experience. Whereas in Ligue 1 have kind of said, oh, okay, well, we've got a trophy lying around, we might as well give it to PSG, and the rest of you will just have to wait and see what happens. Yeah.
So it's, Coop said it wasn't it was the French Prime Minister who stated that there wouldn't be any sport again until September. Yeah. It was the French FA who said that they would then basically give the title to PSG. So yeah.
So it's I don't know. This is where we're going to see lots of these things happen across Europe, isn't it? And and I think the Premier League is obviously banging the drum for they want to get the season finished. They want to get these games played. Mm-hmm. I mean, once again, let's be frank about this. That purely comes down to money and TV rights and getting these games played in front of, these thousands of people, so they can make revenue and gain. The government can gain taxes on that. I mean, this is maybe where it's slightly different in France. Is that the French government have kind of wrote that off and they've said that sporting events, full stop, aren't going to be able to do this sort of thing. So, do you see that's coming down as something of maybe a national issue instead of what kind of FAs are thinking?
Until they've released... Well,
this is not a politics show, by the way.
Yeah, no. I think until they've released a full statement to say what they're going to do, we don't know.
Exactly.
If it's the French government who have actually forced the hand of the FA to say, that PSG should be awarded the title, then
Yeah.
there's got to be question marks around why the government would want to interfere like that, especially when you then bear in mind the amount of finances that come in from PSG. It all then starts to look a little bit shady, financially.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think obviously more is going to come out in time. It's today, the news only broke today, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
That this was what was going to happen. So I hope that they clarify that, because it's at the minute it just seems as though, as you say, they've decided to award them the league, but really without any clarification on what's going to happen further down the league. Granted, I suppose you can't really do that now until we find out what happens across other leagues in Europe, because you can't start allocating European places when they don't know how many there are going to be.
It would have been the first time in a very long time that everyone has followed suit of what the French have done.
Like I said, it's not a politics show. And I'm going to hear a screaming woman in the background in a minute. So I mean, anyway.
Going back to what you said about the Eredivisie as well. Their situation was slightly different as well, because as far as I'm aware, Ajax were top and level on points with AZ Alkmaar.
Yeah, it was a much closer run thing, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, as you say, this is surely going to, if you're going to start awarding titles to people, then it's a domino effect. League 2's got to do the same for whoever's top of that league. They've got to get promoted. I don't think it's at kind of Sunday League level where you'd quite happily just take the trophy and not worry about promotion, because you're in the same league with the same teams again. This is slightly different. This has financial implications. Yeah. So going from say the Championship up to the Premiership is isn't it like a £600 million purse or something in TV rights, something crazy like that.
Yeah, something.
So if I think Leeds top of the Championship at the minute. Is it Leeds?
Leeds and West Brom were the top two, weren't they? I can't remember which way round they were, but Leeds and West Brom were the top two.
Yeah, so for instance, they're top, then and they go, oh yeah, congratulations, you won the Championship, but we're not going to be promoting or relegating teams. They've just missed out on £600 million kitty, which is an incredible amount of money. So, like I say, this is where this has got to be clarified, and it will surely all come out in time. But
because it also then has a massive impact on if they say that they're not promoting and relegating teams. The teams that are in the bottom three at the moment will get that TV money again next year. Because even if Sky say we're not paying out, we're going to retract some of it, we want to claw it back for the unplayed matches, that's still a massive pot. And those teams, your Villa, Bournemouth and Norwich, will then be privy to that money again next season.
Yeah, which for a team like Norwich, who they run on on a shoestring as it is, that those TV rights are of phenomenal importance. So so I mean, moving on, obviously for this happening in Ligue 1, looking at the Premiership, could you see this potentially happening now? That now someone else in Europe has decided to call it a day, that the Premiership are maybe under a tad more pressure to follow suit?
I think the pressure's mounting. It's mounting every day. I think the biggest issue is always going to come down to, and we've said it multiple times, it's going to come down to the finances. The Premier League's income from TV revenue far outweighs everywhere else in Europe. And I think they will leave it, the Premier League will leave it till as late as they possibly can before making a formal decision. Maybe
purely for financial reasons. And we got Coop, our pitch side reporter, saying that Lorient and Lens will be promoted from Ligue 2 to Ligue 1. So obviously they've made that call already, that they are going to be promoting teams. Well, I mean, how does that stand on relegation then? Surely those bottom two teams that are going to go down, or are they going to expand the league into a 22-team league? I mean, this is where it starts to get a bit, I don't know, you're wading in treacle then.
Yeah,
I think.
Especially bearing in mind your top players aren't then going to have a break for 2 years.
Yeah. Because
they'll be in Euro 21 and then the World Cup in 2022.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting time for football. I mean, it's I'd like to think it's all going to backlog up, so us as a supporter get to see a huge vast amount of football. But I mean, that's just going to then go back onto this debate of players getting burnt out, and that's why England are going to struggle at Euro 2021 probably.
Yeah.
That'll be the debate that we're having. Fingers crossed in a year's time when this show's still going. So I hope Toulouse and Amiens have been relegated. Incredible.
Okay, so
incredible.
So as Coop is on the ball, if he can let us know how far away from the rest of the pack Toulouse and Amiens were points wise, because again, if they're cut adrift, and they're both 9-10 points adrift, then it makes sense. Lyon are appealing the decision. I think Lyon are second.
Yeah, right.
So,
I mean, you'd have to. Appeal.
Or Lyon actually.
Sorry, they aren't. Ron second.
Someone else. Lyon are quite a long way down actually, but maybe they're thinking they could get into the Champions League and Europa League or something like that. Maybe they're just adrift of those places.
Yeah. It's all interesting. I mean, like I say, this news that's come out today with that, I think that's all of a sudden it's going to send a bit of a shockwave across Europe, and other teams are now going to have to start considering doing the same thing, and maybe by Ligue 1 doing this.
Lyon are seventh. There we go. So that's just outside Europa places.
Yeah, I mean they're going to help with some of these leagues to make decisions. So, but I mean, so as you say, it's very uncertain times. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but. We shall see. Watch this space. Hopefully, we'll have a bit more by Monday when we go live again. So, But having said that, I mean that brings me on to a point that I brought up with Matt in the very first show that we done. Was about who would be the league PFA Player of the Year, because we sort of had there was only two people that we could, that were going to jostle it out for top spot. Matt kind of suggested someone, and I suggested someone else, and we both sort of agreed that the other one made a very good point. So. I think that the top two kind of speaks for itself, but then sort of, I always try and think of things we can debate on here and get your opinion on it. Like I always do. So it made me think sort of, who would then finish in third? I mean, I think it's you could probably without naming names, you could probably guess the two players I'm going to mention, but who would then finish up in third? And I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on that, and maybe look at a few stats as well to get your opinion.
Yeah, so I had a quick look earlier, and it was sort of just before we came on air, and there was a couple of names, or one name in there that stood out straight away, and I was initially quite surprised, but then thinking about it, I think it was Wilfred Ndidi.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he's been a massive player this season for Leicester. They drastically missed for a couple of years that kind of sit in, break up play, move the ball on when Kante went. So for a couple of years, they really sort of struggled having that space. I think they had Nampe Mendy in there. Yeah. They signed someone else, and they didn't really fit the bill. But Ndidi the last year and a half, has been absolutely quality for them.
Wasn't Ndidi there, though, when they had N'Golo Kante, when they won the league?
I think he came the year after. I think they signed him when Kante went.
Because, I mean, I think Wilfred Ndidi is always overlooked.
He just wasn't in and around the team. I think he may have been playing, but he's progressed. Because you bear in mind, he's only 23, 24?
23, yeah.
Yeah. So he was definitely signed with an eye to playing him for years to come. And I think he's sort of, he's probably bounced on a little bit quicker than they were expecting to the level he's been at. And the other one at Leicester as well has been, is it Ensue?
Yeah, Kaglar Ensue. Yeah, the centre-back. Yeah.
Yeah, who... for every second of looking like a bit of a liability, does something absolutely fantastic.
I think because this is his second season at Leicester, isn't it? He's kind of stepped into
last year, really, did he?
Yeah, he was there for a season, and obviously Harry Maguire had a really good season, so I think he was left on the bench and probably made a few League Cup appearances. It's hard to believe that he's now. I mean, he was touted, wasn't he, in January as going to Manchester City to cover some of their centre back woes, so that Fernandinho could move back into centre midfield, but. It's incredible. I mean, whoever's the defensive coach here at Leicester, I think there's quite a few top teams that need to have a look at him to bring him in. So he seems to be able to turn a turd into gold. So So I mean, could you seriously see either of those two getting in the top three?
No, they don't play for They don't play for a fashionable enough.
Why did you mention them then?
Because it's my opinion. They won't get the votes. They won't get the votes.
Okay. No more questions,
much like Brendan Rodgers won't win Manager of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah, he won't. He won't. Remarkably.
Because Liverpool have had such a brilliant season, now it will go to Klopp. But with significantly better finances and setup and squad and everything else, Brendan Rodgers has taken a team that won the league and then struggled.
Yeah.
And has got them right back up there. Not necessarily within contention, but they look like they're going to be a Champions League team again next season.
It's looking that way.
And they haven't looked like that since winning the league.
No. No, I mean, that first season they had in the Champions League, I think they performed very well. And I mean, obviously the league took a bit of a dip in form, but I mean, I don't think there was a pushover. I mean, I don't think Leicester have been pushovers since they won the league.
No.
They seem to have been one of the teams that they've established themselves. They haven't, faded like many thought they would.
Up until this season, you would say they've established themselves as kind of a top half team.
Yeah. Same with the Wolves have.
Yeah, but I think this year they've kicked on, and to be sat third is unbelievable. But
how much of that do you think is down to individual performances? Because a lot of people now look back on the Premier League winning year and say that was Riyad Mahrez and his magic, and he made that team work, and he's the reason that Vardy got all those goals. I mean, I don't personally agree with that, but
no, because Vardy's still consistently scored since, and Mahrez hasn't been there.
Yeah.
And you had a very solid, experienced backline when they won it.
Yeah.
You had pace and skill with Mahrez and Vardy, and you had Drinkwater and Kante, who just covered every blade of grass in midfield. Yeah. It was very much like an old Arsenal team. Two defensive midfielders, a solid backline. Two quick wide guys and a quick guy up front with someone who works hard next to him.
Yeah, Okazaki. Yeah, I was going to say, his role in that league winning year was slightly a bit like Sterling for England at the World Cup. It went by the by because Vardy was putting the ball in the back of the net while he was doing a lot of the hard work and the dog work and chasing balls down and pushing people into the corners, putting pressure on the full-back.
Okazaki was definitely underrated player in that season.
Yeah, well, and same with, I always thought Mark Albright had a really good season in that season as well. I mean, it was a bit of
considering he was turfed out of Villa for not being good enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was up and down. He was an old school winger.
Yeah.
He didn't come inside.
On his boots. Yeah.
Yeah. Up and down, whip the ball in, cover his fullback, done the job. And essentially, all that happened was that team worked really hard for each other.
Yeah,
and had a couple of standout players, but that was it.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think you could say about quite a lot of the Premier League teams. Really, I mean, this is what's made this for me quite an interesting debate, and what I wanted to find out who you think you'd pick in third, because I think many teams this season there hasn't been too many standout players. I think it's been many really fantastic team performances. So. Yeah. I want
be your top two.
Top two. Interest. In order.
Yeah, why not?
For me, the winner would have to be Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I think he's been the best player in the league this season. He obviously missed a bit of the beginning, didn't he, due to injury.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's just been the one player in the league at the minute that looks like you could just leave him on the pitch on his own and he could win games. He's been outstanding, scoring goals, putting a shift in, coming back, making those tackles, picking those little passes in midfield. It just does everything. Just your perfect centre midfielder. So I don't think that anyone else. I couldn't see anyone else winning it personally. But then the only other person that would be Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, that upsets me. Henderson has been fantastic this year.
Yeah, for what he's done at Liverpool. Very similar in that respect to Kevin De Bruyne. He's been everywhere. He's been up and down, and not to mention he's been leading. With his performances, with captain's performances, with that armband, it's quite understated how much pressure that puts on to you as a player and how much that affects your game, and that's not really faulted him in any way. So I think and the remarkable season that Liverpool are having, it's going to get tainted unfortunately by this COVID, but I hope everyone can look back in years and say, what a fantastic season they had this season and just what an incredible team performance that was. So I mean, for me, he finishes in second. I just don't think he has the impact on that side that Kevin De Bruyne has on that Manchester City side.
No.
Without Kevin De Bruyne, Manchester City just wouldn't function this season, I don't think.
But then saying that, Liverpool have looked average when Henderson's been crocked.
Yeah,
and
correct.
That's when they've started dropping their points and losing points because they've not had that one person guiding them in the middle of the park.
Yeah. But I think it goes testament to probably the form of his players around him. I think Gini Wijnaldum has stepped up at times and he's been outstanding.
Definitely.
Navigator, he's still not quite clicked, I don't think, there at Liverpool. But when he has played, at times he showed just how good he is and why they spent all that money on him.
Fabinho, I really like.
He's quality. Just kind of does that same sort of job as what Fernandinho done at Manchester City. Sits in there.
Yeah,
does all that dog work, keeps the ball moving, and he's not afraid to put a tackle in and take one for the team. So he works perfectly just in front of Van Dijk and Gomez or whoever is there at centre back. So, and not to mention Oxlade-Chamberlain when he's played a few games, as he's got himself back from injury and he's looked okay. He's done a job. So, for me, I just think Henderson just misses out on the magic of Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, definitely.
So going into third, and I turn to who scored for this because I know me and you both look at that as a way of sort of gauging how some players have been performing. And I'm just going to run through the top 10, starting from the bottom upwards. Now, obviously, looking through this, it's quite interesting because the person who's sitting in third has played considerably less games than anyone else who's in that top 10. So. But we'll get to that. So in number 10, you've got Marcus Rashford. 9th is James Maddison. 8th is Wilfred Ndidi. 7th is Virgil van Dijk. 6th, Mohamed Salah. 5th is Sadio Mane. 4th, Ricardo Pereira. 3rd, Riyad Mahrez. 2nd is Adama Traore. And 1st is Kevin De Bruyne. So, is there any argument for Adama Traore? Because in my book there ain't.
No.
Snowflake's chance in hell. I mean, the lad's he's just had a couple of good games and that's it. I don't get the attraction personally, but
he has stepped up massively from the player that Villa signed, and even when he first went to Middlesbrough. I mean, Villa rated him that little that they swapped him for Albert Adoma.
Says it all. I don't know. I don't get the attraction. I mean, everyone says what a powerful player he is, and he's added that kind of final ball to his game. I mean, when I watched him play, he's just a selfish winger. He's just, he's no, don't get it personally. Don't get it.
No. There's definitely a player in there, and it's whether he can be brought out to the fore. I think he has everything to become an absolutely outstanding player.
Yeah.
But there are lots of players who come through and at 21, 22 look like they've got everything to be an outstanding player and then just never really get that kick on.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, out of those 10, there's 3 players that are younger than him. The youngest being Marcus Rashford, and then Maddison and Wilfred Ndidi are both 23, so they're both a year younger than Adama Traore. So you can't exactly say, it's an emergence of talent. I think it's more of a case that he's starting to find his feet and he's finding his way in the Premier League. So. Yeah. But I know they've been talking Liverpool signing him. I think that'd be a disastrous signing. So
yes, I agree.
I mean, out of those 10, I mean, there's one name that I think could finish in third, and that'd be Sadio Mane.
I think for the season that he's had, I think it wouldn't be undeserved.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, but reflecting on it, not. Ricardo Pereira, I think, has had another one at Leicester, has had an absolutely outstanding season. He looks solid defensively. He looks great going forward. And I think because we're being English and having a number of half-decent right-backs, you kind of forget about other ones that are at other clubs because the conversation is normally around the English team or who's going to play English here and here and here. Yeah. So I think Pereira's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's been incredible. Yeah, chipping in with goals and assists.
Exactly.
From right back.
Yeah. Whether he warrants coming third in PFA Player of the Year, I doubt very much.
Yeah. Once again, you kind of go back to that thing of he's at Leicester, so he's not going to be all glitz and glamour.
Yeah. It's the same with Maddison. I think Maddison has had a good season. I don't think he's been as good as he was necessarily last year.
No, but I think he's been more consistent this season.
He's been more consistent, yeah. Yeah, he's he's done it on a more consistent basis, but he hasn't stood out from that Leicester team as much as he did, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I think that's more it. So, but then that's part of the thing when your team starts improving in performances.
Yeah,
you won't.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you know your average, your average rating is going to come down, but as you say, your consistency is going to go up, which is I think more important when you're part of a good team. So
yeah.
So I don't know. For me, I'm not sure about Salah. I think he's had another really good season, but I think Mane's been the one that's just showed that, that spark this season.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Danny Ings isn't on that list.
Yeah, for what he's done.
The thing I saw earlier, I think 23 games, 14 goals.
It's a good return, but
yeah,
I suppose being a striker is. I don't know. Maybe they like to go for strikers, don't they? Because they like the goals and everything. I mean, I'm surprised Sergio Aguero isn't up there somewhere. But
yeah,
just gonna flick through to see if I can find Danny Ings and find out where he is. Sergio Aguero sits 25th on the list.
Oh wow!
So that's quite impressive that he's that far down.
Yeah.
We're still going, and I don't see Danny Ings. You've got Dele Alli in 63rd, Dan Burn in 66th, and Danny Ings at 71st. So
but
he does make the top 100.
Yeah, he makes it. Yeah, but then who scored is heavily statistically based, isn't it?
Yeah, but having said that, you've got your mate Dominic Calvert-Lewin sat 2 places below on 22 games with 13 goals. So an exact same average rating. So.
Okay.
It's interesting that they've kind of gone for the. I don't know. It seems to be a bit more performance-based instead of goals. So Tammy Abraham sits in 37th, who's then the next highest goal scorer, moving up the list on 13. Sergio Aguero's got 16 goals and 25th. Raul Jimenez is 15th on the list with 13. Jamie Vardy 19th in 19 goals. Then Mohamed Salah is the highest scorer in the top 10 with 16 goals. So. I suppose for me it's, does Virgil van Dijk find his way in the top 3? This is it. I think that third place is quite interesting. Yeah. Understandably.
Yeah. Would I be surprised to see him in the top 3? Probably not.
No.
Do I think he will be? I honestly, I think it'll be Henderson. Will be second, and I think it will be Mane in third.
Yeah. No, that's kind of what I was thinking. I think that he's just, I don't know, he's maybe because he didn't shine as much last season. This season looks better.
I think there was also all of the kick-off at the end of the season, wasn't there? That he would have scored significantly more goals had Salah passed to him, and then they'd done all that statistical analysis. And
God. Yeah. We're not TalkSport. We're not going to look at that crap.
but that then I think makes you wonder how much of an impact that actually had, not necessarily on him, but on the players around him.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, how much did that affect things? But who knows? Anyone in the chat's got any ideas? I don't know. I mean, we seem to have kind of agreed that Mane's just by a nose hair pipped Salah and Van Dijk, but I mean, is there any other honourable mentions that we should be thinking about?
Are we going to get a shout for Aubameyang
or Paul Pogba? No, of course not. Yeah, we will get a shout for Aubameyang, I reckon, or Todd Cantwell. What do we reckon? I like Todd Cantwell. I got a real bashing from him from Matt last week, but I rate that lad. He's no Jack Grealish, so don't worry.
No, exactly. That's I was waiting.
Cool.
But 21-year-old, he's definitely Todd Cantwell's definitely in a shout for Young Player of the Year. Yep. I think it will be won by Trent Alexander again.
Oh, it's got to be, yeah.
But yeah, I think he's in a shout.
Yeah, definitely. Funny enough, I'll just have a quick look. Yeah, Alexander Arnold is 14th on the list.
Really?
Yeah, 21 years of age. I'm just gonna.
On the overall. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, overall. We're gonna say 21. What's the criteria for under?
Well, it seems to have changed on a regular basis.
Should we just make our own up and say 21 or under? So that's how I see it.
So yeah, because then Todd Cantwell might get top 3.
No, he won't. Because you've got Dwight McNeil, who's then next on the list.
Saka.
20 years.
Shout from Coop.
Yeah, good. Yeah, great shout.
Yeah,
for what he's done this season as well. I think with Saka as well. Unlike those two players we've just mentioned, he's been playing out of position and not necessarily, being allowed to play his game. In my opinion, I think he's better spent off. Sorry.
New Ashley Cole, taken from left wing, dropped to full back.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, kind of done the reverse Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
Dwight McNeil's then next on the list, and then remarkably, take a stab, who at the age of 21 is then next on the list. It's got you thinking. 21 years of age.
Yeah.
It's his first season in the Premier League.
Right. So is it Todd Cantwell?
It's not Todd Cantwell.
Oh, okay.
It's Christian Pulisic.
He's only played half the season.
He's played 12 games and 4 from the bench.
Yeah, so he's not going to win Young Player of the Year. Yeah.
No, he's not. No. But he does. But technically, he's third on the list, playing half the amount of games of the last two players we mentioned. You've then got Mason Mount, 21 years of age, played 25 games, so that's a bit more reasonable. Then scoot on through to see who then would be after that.
Because Tammy Abraham's now 22.
22.
So he's out.
Yeah, he would just otherwise. I think he'd be a good shout. As I say, once again, depending on the criteria, they probably got to about the age of 27 now.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, 21 years old. He's then next on the list. I'm only going to do top 100. So let's see if our mate Todd's in the top 100. Which it doesn't look like he is, I'm afraid.
Granted, you can come again.
Nope.
Grealish definitely should be in there. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So So I think we've kind of got a bit of an idea of who we think is going to be our top 3. But
yeah,
like I say, guys in the chat, please do throw some ideas out there. Yeah,
the Young Player of the Year again. I think Todd Cantwell will fall down because he plays for Norwich. When you list out those players, I think Mason Mount will get voted ahead of him.
Definitely.
I think Saka's been very good. Coop said Reece James. Reece James has been very good. He's not played all season.
Yeah, he's only had a handful of run-outs, hasn't he? So,
but he has looked very good when he has played.
Yeah.
But Mason Mount, I think you've got others. And as I say, they seem to change the ruling on how old you need to be for that reward on a regular basis. Because I'm pretty sure Hazard won it when he was 23.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So
Grealish over Maddison for England. There you go. Got someone on your side there, Neil.
Been saying that for ages, mate.
I think that's a debate for another day because I think those two players. I think both of them could end up in the England squad, and it'd be hard to decide which one to play. Although I think there's a general consensus. Grealish probably plays a bit further out wide, and you think.
I think Grealish has got more flexibility in his game, which will help him. It's why why Phil Neville got so many caps, isn't it?
Don't go bashing the Nevilles. Best thing to come out of Bury there. I'm just going to have a quick look and find out for you. I'd agree. I think he's better at FIFA though than in real life. Diego Jota. Where is he? He is incredibly. Diogo Jota is 82nd in the top 100 on who scored.
Okay, how old's Jota?
He is 23 years old.
Probably too old to win it now, isn't he?
I don't know. As you say, Hazard won it. But I don't know. That's probably the 1 year they changed the goalposts.
Yeah, they wanted Hazard to win it. He didn't win the Player of the Year, so they tweaked it to give him that one.
Cool. So I know you wanted to bring up a point about the deterioration of Sunday League. I know it's something that obviously means a hell of a lot to you, managing teams in the Sunday League and managing for the last few years, as well as obviously playing pretty much the whole time you've been playing. Is it more of a kind of general consensus of how that it's been deteriorating, or is there a kind of a certain event that's maybe sparked your kind of disgust for how things have maybe happened, or is it like a bit of a gradual thing?
I think
I'm sorry if anything I said there maybe made it sound like it was a kind of a bit of a stronger feeling than what it is.
Yeah,
it's maybe just you feel that teams are starting to disappear when.
Yeah, it's just definitely it's growing up. I would say when I was in Reading, the Sunday League was as strong as the Saturday. You had, in a catchment area where you had a lot of guys who were at big London clubs would get released from contracts, and then just they'd be released at 16. They wouldn't really progress, so they'd go and play for your equivalents of Dereham or Kings Lynn or something like that at a lower level. Obviously, Kings Lynn have boosted up since over the last few years, but they play at sort of a level of Dereham Town and Dis and that kind of area. But then on Sundays they'd still play. Yeah. So the senior division on Sundays was unreal. It was sometimes it was like going and watching the equivalent of a League Two game. Yeah, if you had two teams with all those players. Yeah. I remember playing against a guy, Marcus Richardson, who was playing for a team in Reading, D Road, and a year later he was playing for Cambridge in League Two. And he then done the rounds of Hartlepool, Chester, and various other clubs. And you think, now you look at it, and you have people playing Sunday League where actually it's because they want to showboat if they're at that kind of level.
Yeah. Do you think there's some that just kind of want to get a bit of a run out as well? Or
sometimes I think there's an element of that. But, the decline is just the number of people partaking.
Yeah. The amount of teams registering as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But that's down to the number of teams registering because there's not enough people interested in doing it. So when you then look at, I think when I was in Reading, you had, and we covered a bigger area probably. We didn't. We didn't cover a bigger area than Norwich.
Just so people know, how long ago was that? Sorry.
20 years.
Yeah. Okay.
But Norwich probably covers a bigger area because we've trekked all over Norfolk to play games.
Yeah, there's some nearly. I know certainly in the Saturday leagues there's some as far down as Thetford. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sundays obviously it doesn't go as far, does it? But
not far
we're talking about halfway out to Yarmouth. So.
Yeah, and we played Watton.
Yep.
And we've been to various different places. But I think in Reading we had when I left there were 6, 10. There was comfortably 14, 15 divisions.
Yeah.
And when I first took over running at a team on Sundays now, in the Sunday League in Norwich, that's 10 years ago, there was still 9 divisions. 9 divisions of 12 teams. And that's now 5 divisions of 11 teams. And they didn't complete the season.
No.
And it makes you wonder how many new teams are going to come in this year. Obviously, Corona is going to have an impact on that. But, you could see it dropping down to just 4 divisions. And I think that's... And you've got to ask why there's a decline. From your point of view, why do you think there's such a big decline in Sunday League take-up, Sunday League football?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of. I think youngsters now probably don't want to go play it. They kind of maybe want to chase that dream of going semi-professional or potentially going professional. And I think when that dream dies, then they're quite quick to just kind of hang their boots up.
Yeah.
I think it's probably easy to point the finger and say, well, it's easier to sit down and play FIFA nowadays, and kind of what we're doing here by streaming is probably just as tangible than going playing. I don't know. I'm pretty sure costs are going up, with everything like it is in the world. I suppose society, we don't socialise as much as what we used to. It's all kind of done over the phone. It's getting up early on a Sunday morning to go hang out with your mates isn't really a thing anymore. You get up and you go play football because you want to win. And I certainly find, as someone who's still playing, you don't find as many teams that are maybe just in it just for a bit of crack. You just don't find a core group of mates who are just playing for a team.
No.
I think sorry to kind of maybe point on a bit of a personal note, but certainly with Eton, you have several groups of players that all kind of group together to create a team. So you kind of have that. You know, you don't. I don't know. You don't have to keep farming in players or whatnot. So I think some of the best teams and the teams that stay around for the longest, they keep that core of players or that core of friends.
Yeah, and I there was a couple of points in there that you made that I completely agree with. I think the cost side of things, I think it's a lot more expensive for clubs now. But somehow I don't know how that hasn't come across, because I remember playing in Reading, it was £3 a game.
Yeah.
And we pay a £5 a game now, and I think we paid £10 signing on fee or something like that. So, or 20, or I can't remember. Long time ago.
It's like surely pitch fees have gone up as well.
Yeah, they must have.
Facility fees have gone up, and then I mean, for the Norfolk FA to keep an office and keep the administrative things that they need to do now, because in all fairness, football nowadays is a lot better legislated than what it was.
Yes.
And it's a lot better run than what it was, but that comes at a price. So of course, who's going to pay for that? You do as the club or the player. So, but at the same time, there's certain people who don't want to fork out, as you say. So some people see £5 as not reasonable, whereas in £3 is. So. Yeah.
I suppose if some people look at a £5 and they think, I'm paying £5 to get up and go and play football, I'm paying for the privilege.
Yeah.
But then people will pay £5 to go and play at goals.
Yeah.
And actually only play normally 25 minutes.
If that, yeah.
Because you do the rolling subs.
Yeah.
So, but people will happily go and do that because it's in an evening. It's a bit more convenient. It's I think there's a massive impact of working days. 20 years ago, you didn't have all the shops opening on Sundays.
That's true. Yeah.
You'd have them open at Christmas time and things like that, but during the rest of the year, not really.
Yeah.
Some would open, but not huge amounts.
Yeah.
So I mean that's had a massive impact. But then equally, you don't really see Saturday staff jobs anymore or weekend staff.
No.
So because everybody who works during the week is covering those shifts.
Yeah.
So actually, the youngsters, it makes you wonder whether the youngsters are just not doing it. They may have played up to under 18s and they don't fancy it. I could probably tell you that there's been a few youngsters who have come in, played a couple of games, got kicked a little bit, and don't like it.
Yeah.
They may have been the bully player in kids football, but now they're coming up against everyone who's bigger and stronger than them, and they don't like it, so they don't play.
Could you say that's maybe a bit of a society thing then, of the Sunday League footballer? That's putting off youngsters coming in.
Are we going to use the term snowflake?
That's it, but is that not the way that football's going?
There's got to be an underlying reason for it. You don't see over 10 years nearly 50% of the teams drop out.
Yeah,
there's got to be something to it.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I think financial's got to have something to do with that. Surely, I mean, and that's not me in any way saying that the Norfolk FA need to drop their prices or CNS need to drop their pitch fees and things like that. I mean, stuff's got to be paid for.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, because it comes down to, I suppose, how do you want to run the club? Do you want to end up paying for it out of your own pocket? Because you don't. Let's be honest. But if you find someone that just loves football so much that he'll pay for it out of his own pocket and he's on a good wage Monday to Friday, then you I don't know how many of them you're going to find. Not very many.
There isn't many knocking around. No.
So I don't know.
You're reliant on the buy-in of all the other players.
Yeah, correct.
And that then. That's where the issue then kicks in, because some people will buy into it and they'll happily contribute fully and be part of it, and others won't. And I think one of the other things you were talking about is the social aspect.
Yeah,
I used to go out with the football team on a Saturday night. We'd play on the Saturday. We'd go out on the Saturday night, and then we'd all get up and go and share our end of night story.
Yeah,
on the way to the game on a Sunday morning, and then play on the Sunday, and then we'd go back to the social club after.
Yeah.
And chat about more, but that social aspect isn't there anymore. I think we're one of there are a few teams where there is that social side of things. You go to some of the pubs after games and you see the whole team in there. I mean, we're quite lucky that we get 12 or so players back every week.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, that majority of that comes out of the first team game, but it's also very hard if you've got a pub here. If you've got a pub in Norwich, for example, but one of the teams is playing miles away, the other side of the city, you can't expect people to trek in all the way across to then go all the way back again.
Yeah,
you know?
it's difficult. Once again, then you start getting into the logistics of how you can organise that. I mean, once again, that's bringing in players as well. Some teams are not going to want to come play in the Norwich Sunday League if they live out in Watton. Things like that. So and
that's where you've seen some of the teams fold.
Yeah.
You can add a player in for a year, but after a year, when he gets fed up, or when all of a sudden the guy who's bringing him every week don't want to play anymore, you lose 2 players.
Yeah. No, precisely.
So,
he's not going to bring his mates along. So all of a sudden, the social aspect goes as well as the players and the team side of things. So it's a difficult one. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think anyone knows, quite frankly, because as you say, the prices aren't going to come down, and young footballers aren't going to change their minds. I don't think.
No, and I just think it's a disappointing. Well, it is a disappointing thing, because I think Sunday League had a massive part to play in so many people's lives.
Yeah.
Growing up, and I just think it's on a downward spiral, and it's either going to get to the point where there's such a vast difference in the levels of teams within it, because it becomes so small, that you'll lose the teams at the bottom end of that, or it will just plateau out and the level just won't be very good across the piece.
Yeah. And just to kind of have a little side note on that, I mean, do you think there's any impact on can't really name names, but I mean, there's certain teams that have in the past kind of moved their way up the leagues and then folded, then re-entered at the bottom, and then moved their way back up the leagues and kind of taken easy wins and easy cup wins for sort of self-gratification. Do you think that's played any impact on it?
On the decline of the league itself?
Yeah.
No. The weird thing is, it's always the teams that seem to struggle are the ones that seem to stick around longest.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that have, built those relationships, got that camaraderie going on.
Yeah.
The team who were bottom of our league getting humped by everyone folded, but they'd finished bottom of the division like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And had never been relegated, because the league wouldn't relegate teams because they didn't have enough teams coming through. So they needed them to make up the numbers. But, they kept going for 3 years.
Yeah.
Not many teams would do that.
No, I was going to say, it's certainly down at the bottom anyways, getting humped. So many teams do fold because, it's not fun. You lose players like they're going out of fashion because, we're still competitive people. We don't like losing.
And it is frustrating, though, when you see a team who come through the league and smash the league and they get to a point and they go, nah, step beyond, don't want to push ourselves.
Yeah.
And they start again. And these guys, and you think some of the players that play in those teams, when they stop playing, and it goes back to what we were saying the other week, make the most of playing while you still can.
Yeah.
Because there'll be a point in time you can't, and you'll miss it, and you'll regret not doing it. But some of those players, at the end of the time of playing, they're going to look back and they're going to go, look at all the things I've won.
Yeah.
I won Division 4 3 times, Division 3 twice, and Division 2 twice.
Yeah.
Did you play in Division 1? Nah, we sacked it off every year.
Yeah.
What benefit is that? How have you proved yourself as a decent player?
I don't know. Pots and pans look good, don't they? But
well, exactly. Yeah. A little bit shiny.
Yeah, a little bit
Magpies.
shiny. Yeah, a little bit shiny. Yeah. Speaking of enjoying, making the most of it while you can. I mean, Grant popping up in the chat. I heard you were out running the other day, so I hope your knee's healing up nicely, mate.
Did you not see him?
No, I didn't see him. No,
I posted some videos of himself.
Oh, did he? Oh no, good for him. Good for him, man. I hope that knee's getting nice and strong. I saw some of the running on the football pitch. So yeah, do the right things, mate, and you'll be back playing next season. Looking forward to it. Okay, I'm going to skip something that I wanted to bring up because I think you had a very interesting debate before we get on to our Fantasy Champions League draw about most hated player. That's something that because a lot of players I don't like, and I know Coop's going to pipe up any minute with all the players he hates because the chat's going to have 50 million messages in it now. So, so what was your premise for that? Have we got any criteria on players we hate, or we could just thrash some names out?
Well, it was something that I was reading a week or so ago, and it was Premier League clubs' most hated players.
Okay.
And I found some of them really bizarre.
Okay.
So it was players that had been at the club and were hated by the fans. So obviously everyone has players, hated by their own fans, not necessarily whilst at the club, but upon their leaving.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hated by the club.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Obviously, Sol Campbell was on there, hated by all Spurs fans.
Yep. Yep. Of course. Yep.
Carlos Tevez was on there, hated by Man United fans.
Yeah, we're going to Man City for all that money. Yeah. Yeah.
See, I would have thought he would have also been hated by West Ham fans for playing 10 games and then sacking them off. But
he
apparently
kept
not.
them up, didn't he? Yeah.
Well, he did keep them up, yeah, much to Sheffield United and Neil Warnock's upset.
That was a bit unfair.
Never mind Warnock.
Yeah. Bless him. He's a good lad.
Julian Lescott was on there for Villa after getting humped 6-0 by Liverpool and then tweeting a picture of his roller or his Bentley straight away after. Yeah. Surefire way to, after telling everyone how you're a man of Villa and you grew up as a youth player and you're here to save the club, and then doing that.
But have you seen my roller?
Yeah. Got beat 6-0, but look at what Carl got. Yeah, good work, mate. And then claiming straight after it was an accident.
Yeah.
Because Twitter standardly just goes into you touch it and it puts a picture up, tweets it. A lot of buttons to be pressed there accidentally.
Maybe use a voice command or something.
Yeah, maybe he said, "I don't care. I've got a Bentley," and Twitter went, "Hello."
It's almost like Fabian Delph isn't on there for them as well.
And
they must have a lot of hated players.
Yeah. I think there's a few people. I think Paddy Riley's probably hated more, who was the recruitment guy when Tim Sherwood was in charge, and Tim Sherwood gave him a list of the players he wanted. Paddy Riley went, "Okay, brilliant," and went away and bought him a load of French players who weren't any of the ones on the list. And then Tim Sherwood turned around and when they got beat the first few games and he got sacked, and he said, "What am I meant to do? I'm using players I didn't want to sign."
He's got a point, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, you can only work with what you got. If you ain't got the players that you wanted or the players that you needed, then if you're going out and sign 6 centre backs when you're struggling for goals, then Christ, then you're in a world of trouble. But
yeah, exactly. And I think so. And it was kind of then from that I was looking at it thinking, well, actually, who is the most hated player? As a Man United fan, who was it that at Man United that annoyed you most, either whilst playing or when they went? Because from my point of view, and I think you sort of touched on it, was the Fabian Delph thing.
Yeah.
Taking a massive, saying, I'm not going to go, signs a new contract, asks for a release clause in his contract, to which he then gets his week pay, tells Man City what the release clause is and goes.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it absolutely baffles you. You just think, I don't know, don't get it.
Yeah, because that wasn't an accidental tweet. He done that.
No, he knew what he was doing. Yeah, him and Raheem Sterling, the snakes on the plane. So
exactly.
That was quite funny, to be fair. I mean, that was a clever play on words. So
yes.
I like that. That tickled me at the time. But I don't know. I mean, to look on Manchester United, who's I mean, hate's a strong word. I don't think I hate any Manchester United players. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That is a difficult one. I can't think of too many, to be fair. Players I dislike. Jesus Christ. I mean, there was obviously a time when I disliked Cristiano Ronaldo when the whole Winkgate thing went on, but
yeah,
because I mean that was just bang out of order. But I think now, now I've grown up a bit. I think that got blown out of proportion massively. I think if you look back on that, if you watched the footage of it, and I watched it a couple of times, I think he was just winking to someone on the bench because they maybe said to him, "Oh, make sure you attack the fullback now," and he probably just winked to say, "Oh yeah, no problem."
Yeah,
I think he was just acknowledging a command from the bench. I think at the time it got blown out of proportion, and
it could have been as simple as they were asking if Carvalho was all right.
Yeah, precisely.
And it was an
just go, yeah, grand. I'm sure that's exactly what he said as well. Grand. In that Portuguese accent. So
that Mancini Portuguese accent.
God, Jesus Christ, I don't know. Hated players. That is a difficult one. I don't know. I don't think you should hate your own players, but I'm sure there are a few. I mean, there's probably been times where I've sat there thrashing, a Manchester United player. Romelu Lukaku at times.
Yeah.
Got on my nerves. No. Okay, right. Most hated player, because I don't like this player. I wouldn't class him as a Manchester United player because he played for so many teams. But Ibrahimovic, I can't stand that bloke. Hate him. Hate him. It just,
fair enough.
I think he bangs on about what an incredible career he's had. But I mean, he walked into all the teams in Europe that, at the height of their success. I mean, he was exactly what we would do as Sunday League players. We'd always wait until the end of pre-season to pick who was probably the best team in the league, and you go and play for them. I mean, it's how I won a league in the Chesham Sunday League.
Yeah.
The team had been chasing me for a few years, and I just waited until it looked like they had a decent team, and I went inside for them.
Yeah,
and when we won the league, and out of all the games, we only lost 2 games all season, and those were both in the last 3 games of the season. We drew the other one. We won every game apart from that. You just wait, but I think Ibrahimovic has made a career out of it, and a very fine career. So I mean, you can't take that away from him, but I just don't like the way that he carries himself. I suppose you've got to have that certain arrogance and that certain confidence about yourself, but all that, I'm a lion and this, that, other, just shut up, mate.
Yeah.
Cut your hair and just play football, pal.
Cooper's raised a very good point. Robbie Savage did play
but
for
he didn't play for Man
United,
United, did he? Yeah, everyone does hate him. Yeah, he didn't play for Man United, mate. He didn't. Let's be honest.
So you wouldn't hate someone like... So you said the most excited person you were... or the person you were most excited about was Falcao.
Yeah.
Now, essentially, he stole a living for a year at Man United.
And Chelsea. I don't hate him, though.
So
I mean,
does that counterbalance then? You like him because he stole it a year up?
Yeah, I felt sorry for the poor bugger. I mean, he turned up at Man United and he was injured, and bless him. He's got bad knees, hasn't he? Poor old Radamal. I mean, you could say the same about Dimitar Berbatov. I mean, everyone thought he was going to be the next Eric Cantona, and he turned up and he played his game and he was outstanding. I don't think he got the credit he deserved, but people look back on his time at Manchester United and say he didn't cut it.
No, that's fair.
I suppose you could maybe say even Ryan Giggs, when he got caught for that scandal as well. He was shagging his brother's wife, But do I hate the man? No. I mean, he's the reason I picked that number when I played for Pioneer. Yeah. He's one of my heroes on a football pitch. Definitely not fit for that reason. But he's just what an incredible footballer. Players I hate, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of too many. Even some of the goalkeeping gaffes we had.
I was going to say Taibbi.
Massimo Taibbi or Fabian Barthez. Who did he let score? Was it Di Canio? I think it wasn't Di Canio, was it?
Yeah. No, it was Di Canio. Yeah,
he just
put his hand
there.
Up, just stood there with his hand up offside, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Laurent Blanc wasn't exactly one of my favourite players. I never had his poster on my wall. I thought he was pretty naff, but I never hated him.
But weirdly, at the time, Man United lost more games when Blanc didn't play that season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I think that went down a lot to his his age and his experience. I think he sort of pulled us through at times back then.
Yeah, he led. Yeah.
I don't know. I might have to go away and think about that one, because I'm sure there is someone I hate that played for Manchester United. I'm sure there is. I don't know. I mean, I'm not exactly a huge Anthony Martial fan. He gets on my tits, but I wouldn't say I hated him. Eric Jemba, so good they named him twice. I hated that, but I didn't hate him.
No.
Kleberson, he was a dick, but I didn't hate him. But
what about any player that came and you thought, do you know what? Really happy he's here, and then they've just done one, sacked it off, gone somewhere else.
Christ almighty, there's plenty of them at Man United, mate. Bloody hell.
But no, Man United, over the time, especially over sort of your time supporting them, it's only the last couple of years, last sort of 7-8 years that Fergie's not been there. Up until that point, people were normally offloaded at the perfect time. They were done with.
Yeah, but I mean, you still had like Tom Cleverley, Darren Gibson, the De Silva brothers. They had longer stints in the side than they should have had. Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, Gabriel Obertan. Who was that other?
Oh wow!
Who was that other Nana that played out wide?
Bebe.
That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Players like that, you just think, what were we thinking? Adnan Januzaj, just looked quality for a game, and then that was it.
Looks good in Spain now, though, don't he?
I mean, all right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say he's, he wasn't the 60-odd million pound player that Paris Saint-Germain were thinking of paying, buying at that time, and then we offered him a 5-year contract, and he thought, well, Christmas come early. But having said all this, we don't know. We don't know what goes through his head, and we've all done it as players. We've had 1 or 2 absolutely outstanding games, and then done that. Well, I mean, I know I have. I had 1 or 2 good games. I've done nothing for the rest of my footballing career, so apart from get my leg broke. So that's it. So I suppose he done the equivalent for Manchester United. So So I don't know. Yeah, I'll take a rain check. I'll have a think about that. I'll have a think about what player I hate, and I'll respond.
The footballer I dislike most across the world, and it's controversial.
Now we're talking.
There's one that stands out. I really dislike Sergio Busquets.
I hate that guy. God, I hate that guy. I bet even his own mum hates him.
He goes around kicking everyone, and then falls over at the slightest thing and cries about it, and tries constantly waving his arm to try and get people booked and sent off. Don't get me wrong, he is a very good player.
Is he though? Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Is he really that good? He ain't.
No, it upsets me. He is.
He ain't. He's not, Neil. Sorry, he's not that good.
His attitude towards it is hideous.
Oh, he's got to be. Don't know. Can we find out who the president of Barcelona's daughter's husband is? Because I guarantee it's him. He ain't that good. He is not that good. I don't rate him as highly as what everyone else does. I don't get what he does in that Barcelona side.
I don't know how he kept Yaya Toure out of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But I suppose all he does, he just picks the ball up and then plays a simple pass every time. That's all he does.
Right place, right time, man, in a centre midfield, in a holding midfield role. But then they're not attacked that much because they defend from the front, don't they? So.
But we've been talking. Okay, so Sergio Busquets is this wonderful centre midfield player at Barcelona that sits in front of the back four. Well, why are they having all these defensive issues like they've been having for the past few seasons? Because they've got that idiot sat there. That's why.
Well, yeah.
If they'd have brought in Wilfred Ndidi or an N'Golo Kante, a player like that, Fernandinho, tell you now, Barcelona would have won a damn sight more in these last few years than instead of having that prat sat there in centre midfield.
Yeah, maybe. Barcelona boy, isn't he?
Told you. I need to find out who the president's daughter is married to. Okay, right. So yeah, I got quite animated on that. That's probably about the most angry I've been since I've been doing this.
I think we hit a trigger there, didn't we?
Yeah, I can't believe Coop's only named one player that he hates.
I think he might be fuming over Sergio Busquets.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, he's just involuntarily combusted.
Yeah,
he's just with anger. He's just blown up. There's a smouldering pile of Coop.
He has typed a lot of swear words, of which he keeps deleting because he thinks they're not appropriate for chat.
Yeah, and funny enough, my chat moderates that, so that's probably what it is. He's struggling to find a word that he's allowed to put on there.
Is that why it's all starred on his last comment?
Yep.
Do you reckon? Is your chat kicked him?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
He's not happy.
You've been moderated, pal. Okay, so I wanted to round off the show with this.
Yes.
I wanted to run because this week, this Tuesday, Wednesday would have been the Champions League semi-final games.
Mm-hmm.
So I stole this idea of the BBC. They was going to run their fantasy one, but I thought we might as well run ours because I don't know, they're full of crap.
We'll do it better. Yeah.
Precisely. We will do it better. So we already have 4 names that we can put into our lovely bowl, which has been donated by my lovely wife.
Cool.
Purely for the next half an hour, then I've got to give it back.
Yeah.
So
you've not got your balls in there, have you?
Not yet.
Cool.
Not yet.
Yep.
We haven't got balls, Neil, because I couldn't afford them.
All right, we've got paper ripped up, yeah?
We do, correct. Ripped up, I couldn't find the scissors. So we already have Paris Saint-Germain going into the Magical Bowl after a 3-2 aggregate win over Borussia Dortmund.
Coops found a way around it.
Hey! And he's going to get banned. Which would really kill me. That would take my average views down. We then also have Atletico Madrid going through as well after that surprise late turnaround against Liverpool after Adrian made a couple of blunders. We then have the plucky Italians of Atalanta in the hat as well after an aggregate win of 8-4 against Valencia, remarkably beating them in the Mestalla 4-3.
They did, yes.
In the second leg after a 4-1 triumph in Bergamo. We then also, rounding out our 4 that are already in the pot, or 4.5 should I say in the pot, is Red Bull Leipzig after a convincing win over Tottenham, both home and away. Mm-hmm. The 0.5 that's already in the pot is we're then moving on to the postponed games, which we have the Chelsea-Bayern Munich game, which was standing at an aggregate score of 3-0 to Bayern Munich after playing the Chelsea leg of that. Have we got any objections to Bayern Munich going into the draw?
I would say Bayern will probably would have seen that one through.
Do you think? I mean, I didn't actually write out the ticket because I you never know. You might have turned around to me and said Tammy Abraham's going to score 4 goals in the Allianz.
Yeah, but I still see Bayern scoring another 3.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, true story.
Okay, I'll guff that up. Okay, so Bayern Munich go on to the pole. We then move on to the next of and this one, I think this is a contested one because I feel, don't know, I'm conflicted on this one. I'll give you my reasons why. With the next game we've got is Napoli-Barcelona. The tie currently stands at 1-1 after playing in Naples. So the postponed leg was in Barcelona with the tie at 1-1. Is there... I don't know. I had shades of Roma against Barcelona, thinking that I could see Napoli sneaking a triumph here. Dries Mertens last season with the team, maybe springing a surprise. But having said that, it's very hard to see past Barcelona playing at home in the Champions League. So
who else is in amongst the Napoli team? Insigne,
Callejon. You've got obviously Koulibaly at centre back alongside Kostas Manolas. Mario Ruiz had a really good season at left back after looking like he was going to, leave the team.
So they've got a
they've
very
got a good side,
outfit.
an industrious side. Don't get me wrong, they're not. And they've also got Fabian Ruiz is having an awesome season after moving there from Real Betis, who's a sort of attacking midfielder. He's having an outstanding season. So they're arguably in better form than Barcelona, but it's one of those games where you could just see Antoine Griezmann popping up and scoring a couple of goals.
You're foolish to bet in that situation. I think to bet against Barca, I could potentially see a draw, but I can't. I think if it was 1-1, I think Barca would then go through on penalties. If it in the Camp Nou, I think if it was 2-2 with any time left to go, I think Barca would throw all caution to the wind and nick it 3-2. I just don't. I can't look beyond them.
Yeah, I can't. No, I was going to say, I was sitting there and I kind of wanted to really make a point for Napoli, and I can in the sense that they are the form side going into this.
Yeah.
I think 1-1, Barcelona would have been happier of the two teams with that in Naples, because they knew what a tricky side they were coming up against. But as you say, it's as much as I kind of, I don't know, that one could be a toss of a coin. I just couldn't see past Barcelona. So so they're going to go into the bowl of mystery. Then the next one, involving an English side, is Manchester City against Real Madrid. Obviously, the away leg finished 2-1 to Manchester City after a rousing comeback, and they had Sergio. Was it Varane or Ramos that got sent off in that game?
Oh,
they had a player sent off.
I can't remember.
Let's have a quick look.
I mean,
they had Sergio Ramos sent off in the 86th minute.
Yeah, I'd say I'd throw money at Ramos, but yeah.
Okay, just backtracking 10 minutes, he is up there with most hated players in world football. I can't stand that guy.
No, me either, but still Busquets.
Yeah, still Busquets. Just by a nose length, that horrible, crooked, pointy nose of his. You want to just punch. Okay, so is there any arguments that Real Madrid can make a comeback at the Etihad without their glorious captain?
No, I don't. Real aren't the team that they were. Hazard hasn't properly kicked on this season. He spent his time injured, and they just Bale looks good when he plays, but there's just a drastic lack of inconsistency. Not necessarily from him when he plays, but just from picking him. So Dan doesn't like him, and uses as and when. Vincenzo Junior was looking really good. He then kind of started to go off the boil a little bit. They've got the other youngster in the other Brazilian. Is it Rodrigo?
Rodrigo.
Yeah, but he didn't get huge amounts of a look in. I think
Luka Jovic just hasn't quite found his feet yet.
No. I think Real are a team in transition, and I think they will be in the Champions League consistently because the Spanish league, once you go down after the top 3-4 teams, isn't that great.
No, I don't think so. No.
So and I think they also have a lot of gravitas when they go to games. I think teams feel beaten before they play them in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think Man City will feel beaten. So Man City will go through.
Yep, I would agree with that. Their name's already written out. And then we move on to the last one, which once again, this is a bit of a squeaky bum one. We have Lyon against Juventus. Lyon currently leading 1-0 from the first leg, which surprised a lot of people. A 31-minute goal from Lucas Toussaint. Juventus dominated that game, from what I remember. Can you see them turning that game around back at the Juventus Stadium?
I need to check here, though, Sean. Did you make you happy, or did you make the French family happy?
What's that?
What have you written down already?
I've written nothing. This is
this one is open.
Yep.
This one is open. Okay.
I will hold all these up just to show that I'm not. I haven't just written Juventus down 16 times. If that answers your question.
Yeah. No, Leon.
I would make an argument for them. I would make an argument for them. I think once again they've been a bit industrious. The league obviously wasn't really there for them to play for down in 7th.
No.
I could have quite easily seen them camping in the Juventus Stadium with a flat back 5 and maybe grind a result out. Having said that, it was the stage was kind of set for another Cristiano Ronaldo masterclass, wasn't it?
And I think the point is as well, most teams in Italy do that anyway.
Yeah.
They go to Juve, they will sit there and they will try and grind out a result. And 90% of the time they don't get one.
No.
So, you can't see Lyon doing any more than any of the other teams. I can't, Ronaldo, Dybala, even Higuain.
Yep.
He's not the player he once was, but the guy still steps up and picks up really important goals.
You say he was keeping Paulo Dybala out the side, earlier this season.
He was,
and actually keeping Ronaldo away from that centre forward position. He was, Ronaldo had to be moved out wide to accommodate. As you say, and you've got the likes of Douglas Costa there, Juan Cuadrado, players from midfield that can press on. So obviously being a
Pjanic
Juve
still
fan,
there.
I'd like to. Pardon?
Pjanic still there.
Yeah, Pjanic. Yeah, he's been out injured. I mean, I think he's on about leaving the end of the season. So
okay.
He was part of a deal for Paul Pogba.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, Douglas Costa and Pjanic. Yes, but no, you can't see beyond Juve.
Yeah, as you say, I think the experience would maybe just see him through. So, okay.
Worst case scenario, Juve would win 1-0 and then take it on penalties or something.
Mm-hmm. So just to show that I'm not forging this, and for anyone watching who gives half a shit, we have Juventus.
Yep.
Manchester City.
Yep.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich.
Yep.
RB Leipzig.
Yep.
Atalanta.
Yep.
Atletico Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
And Paris Saint-Germain. If you can read my handwriting. I'm glad you pointed out Ramsey as well, Coop. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm now going to fold these up and throw them into the bowl.
Lovely job.
While we do this. This is where I need Luis Figo or someone to come in and draw the names.
So quarterfinals, this must be the lowest number of British teams or English teams in a quarterfinal for a while.
For a while, yeah. I mean, me and Matt both brought this up the other day that despite the twitterings from some people sort of saying the English teams have not performed at such a level in Europe, actually, looking at this season and looking back, they have actually,
Yeah.
Manchester City being the only team that are left in it. I suppose Chelsea can't be written off just yet.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they can. Sorry, Matt. I tried to make an argument for you. I tried to big up
had
Tammy.
Had the 3-0 been at Bayern, and it was then being played at Stamford Bridge, there may have been an argument.
May have been.
Yeah.
May have been.
I mean, even then, it would have been very, very hopeful.
Man, I'm gutted we're doing this in lockdown. I really want to get some people to come in and pick the teams out and read them out in a European accent just to make this seem
Claire?
like a...
Get Claire to come in and read them out.
I can't get Claire to do it. It's one person. You need to get lots of different people.
You could be the British person and she's the French person.
No, because they never do have a British person doing it. I say it's always Luis Figo or someone cool.
Michel Platini.
Michel.
Yes, he has to pick it, don't he, so he can fix it.
No comment. I don't want no more controversy on this show. So we could give the bowl a bit of a shake. And we're going to pick out some teams. Right. First team out of the hat is...
I'll write this
struggle
down.
To open the ball.
Pen at the ready. Oh, never been to this stage in this in European competition or in Champions League.
Appearing in their first quarter-final.
Yes. Cool. We have Atalanta.
I assume they still do it in a two-way leg, so they play the home leg first. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
They face off against Atletico Madrid.
Oh.
Atleti.
Wow. There's Atlanta out. Their run comes to an end.
Hey, I think that's a tight call.
Yeah.
Tight call, that one. Tight call. We're going to debate these because then we're going to pick our semi-final.
Yeah, cool.
So, not going to pick scores though. We'll be here all night.
Yeah, that roll of the dice.
Next one is Barcelona.
Barca.
Barcelona. I'm trying to do accents. They're really bad. I have to throw out my Joe Exotic impression. It's really bad. Oh no, we've lost a viewer. Yeah, the accents upset someone. Okay, yeah, I've only got one here, and it is Das Leipzig.
Leipzig.
Red Bull Leipzig.
Okay.
Bayern München. Bayern München. Getting very serious now. Who are Man City going to get?
Oh.
Juventus.
Oh, Bayern Juve. Oh,
Ouchie Wawa.
G versus Man City.
Wawa. Ooh. Oh yeah. This could get interesting. Just to make sure that we have got the right amount in here. There are two left. So the first home team will be Paris Saint-Germain.
PSG.
Versus Man
City.
Man City.
Could work in Man City's favour. The last round did.
It certainly did. So, okay, interesting lineups we've got there. So, Christ. Let's start with the one that seems like a bit of an easy call out of all of those draws. Atalanta Atletico. You can't see any other winner in that one apart from Atletico.
No.
Despite really what was two average performances against Liverpool.
But they won comfortably.
Did they?
Was it 4-0 on aggregate or something, wasn't it?
No. They only won in extra time 4-2.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
They were after. Let's have a look. In the 94th minute, so in extra time, because it was 1-1 after full time. Liverpool were due to go through with the scoreline of 2-1 in the 94th minute until Diego Llorente scored in the 97th minute. 3 minutes later, that's when Adrian had his meltdown.
Yeah.
And then he scored again later on.
Yes.
Once again, Adrian had a bit of a... And then Morata just sealed it off at the end when I think Liverpool were desperately trying to get back in the game. So, I mean, I don't think... In my opinion, I mean, watching that game, it was all Liverpool in the second leg. And in the first leg, I think it was all Liverpool as well. I mean, it was just purely Saul Niguez got that goal in the 4th minute, and then they just camped in and just kept the ball when they could. But they were under siege the whole of that game as well.
I still can't see. I just can't see Atalanta progressing.
No.
To be fair, I probably would have said that they would have been beaten by Valencia, but Valencia are nowhere near the team they were.
No, they're not. No, nowhere near. And
I think that then goes back to what we were saying earlier about the Real Madrid setup.
Yep.
You know, if Valencia are sort of the 4th, 5th, 6th best team in Spain at the moment, it's a nothing position. I just can't say. Diego Simeone's just got a way of getting results.
Yeah.
And getting a performance out of his team when he needs it.
Yeah.
And I think they'd do the same again against Atalanta. I can't see Atalanta continuing, or I couldn't see Atalanta continuing that run in Europe.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I mean, they've been outstanding. I mean, let's not, you know, yeah, you know, they've got to be looked. If they go out at this stage like we think they're going to, they can still leave with their heads held high and say they've
Most
had
definitely.
a phenomenal tournament. So
yeah, no one would have had them getting out of the group.
No. So, by the sounds of it, over 2 legs then in our Battle of the A's, we're going with Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So they go back in the tub of mythical beings. So they will be our first semi-final side.
Mm-hmm.
We then move on to. Actually, I'm quite impressed that out of all of this, we haven't managed to get 2 nationalities picked together. So, I'm quite proud of that. Right. So our next game is Barca Leipzig. Once again, Barcelona in our eyes kind of scraped through in the last round.
Yeah.
Against Napoli. Doggedly, maybe fairly, but they still made their way through. Leipzig had a convincing win over Tottenham.
Yeah.
A Tottenham missing Harry Kane and really a team that didn't turn up in both of those games, I don't think.
No. They played in those 2 games like they played in the final last year.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, could we see them maybe with a bit more youthful exuberance, knowing that Timo Werner's due to move on? Could they possibly run Barcelona close? Or once again, Barcelona are that team that they just always progress? They're the wily old foxes of the Champions League.
I think Leipzig have got a much better chance of going through than Atalanta. You know, Barca scraped through against Napoli, but I would say Napoli are a better team than Spurs.
Currently, I'd agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's so apparent when Spurs don't have Harry Kane in that team. They will pull out results and Son will look great and Lucas Moura will look great in patches, but it's not a cohesive performance.
Certainly not.
So Leipzig will definitely run Barca hard. Yeah. I just don't think it'll be enough.
No. I'd go with that. I think that, I don't know, I could see Leipzig getting a result at the Red Bull Stadium. I just can't see.
Yeah.
In the same way that Barcelona got through against Napoli, I just can't see them faltering.
No. I could almost see it like the Barca PSG game a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
Where Leipzig pull out an absolutely brilliant performance and win at home. Yeah. And then they go to Barca and Barca steamroll them.
Yeah. Precisely, yeah. It looked like they got it absolutely sewn up and it didn't happen. So, out of those 2, then Leipzig are going to go over there into...
I also think you get to this stage in these sorts of competitions and that's when the pressure starts to tell because you're that much closer.
Yeah. And
Barca and Atletico have both got the experience of being in this position before. Leipzig and Atalanta, it's completely new for them.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. As you say, they've got their youthful exuberance, but they've also got the naivety of youth as well. So they maybe won't game manage as well as what Barca would. Okay, this one once again becomes a bit of a tough
now
tie.
It gets tricky.
Bayern München against Juventus. Now that one is anyone's game.
Yeah.
I personally, I'd probably go along. I don't know. I mean, we talked about Juventus's experience.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look particularly clever last season when they faltered against Ajax.
Yeah.
Ajax in the semi-final.
No, Ajax in the quarter-final, wasn't it?
Quarter-final. Sorry, quarter-final. Yeah. Well,
because Ajax in the semi got beat by Spurs, didn't they?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Yeah. You know, everyone thought that they were favourites last year, and they went into this one as favourites. But Bayern Munich always find ways to win games, and the man that's been absolute fire in Europe this season is Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah,
so
every season.
But he's just been exceptional this season, just scoring goals left, right, and centre at consummate ease.
Yeah,
Thomas Müller has popped up with goals when needed. Kingsley Coman's been quite lively up the front there.
Sarge Gnabry's been brilliant,
Sarge Gnabry, tore Tottenham apart earlier in the Champions League. You've also got Thiago Alcantara, who can run a game single-handedly in centre midfield. Christ, they've got one hell of a squad and one hell of a team. In the same way that Juventus do, as you say, with that forward line of Ronaldo, Dybala and Higuain, players like Miralem Pjanic in the centre midfield alongside Rodrigo Bentancur. And you got Bonucci, Chiellini, De Ligt. Some fantastic players that can play at the back, as well as obviously one of world football's legendary goalkeepers in Gigi Buffon sitting on the bench and obviously in and around the squad. Yeah. So and Szczesny, who's Polish #1. So that's the best I can say about him.
Yeah.
So this one I can't call. I just can't. I can't make a decision on this one because I could see it going both of which ways. I kind of want to say I'm leaning more towards Bayern because I don't see Sarri being much of a coach and not having the tactical nous to get past a difficult team like this.
No, and I think that neither team are going to feel the pressure. They've both been at this level for so many years.
Yeah.
I think I'm very much the same as you. I think 9 days or 9 times out of 10 Bayern win.
Yeah,
but Juve just have that knack of getting that result.
Yeah,
I can't see them getting it against them there.
No,
I think Bayern will win the game.
Yeah. I think over the 2 legs, I think that they would squeak a 1 or 2 goal advantage in aggregate, and they would go through. So
I think they would win, but honestly I think they could win both legs.
Yeah, it could go 1 or 2 ways. They could steamroll them.
Yeah.
Because Juventus at times do look shaky. So Juventus are going to go over in that pile, and Bayern München go into the pot. Our first non-Spanish team, remarkably.
Yes.
And so it brings us on to another one which feels like a bit of a toss of a coin, and that's Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City.
No, this is the opposite, isn't it? This is the opposite of the 2 teams above that have been there and done it on a regular basis. These two teams have been there and choked multiple times.
I wouldn't say choked. I mean, I don't think Manchester City have choked in the Champions League. I think they've been building. They've been building. Pep Guardiola's now got the best chance that he ever could have of winning a Champions League with Manchester City. And like he said earlier this season, he will be seen as a failure at Manchester City unless he wins one, which is remarkable. Can you see them getting past Paris Saint-Germain and Neymar?
Yes. Yeah. I think Paris have got such an ability to implode.
Yeah.
That overconfidence and that swagger has caught up with them so many times.
Yeah.
Especially in the Champions League. It's great going and winning the French league every season.
Yeah.
When it's like the Scottish league. Celtic and Rangers used to have 4 tough games a season where they played each other.
Yeah, that was it.
And it's the same in France. I mean, you talk about in Germany where it's Dortmund, Munich, and then sometimes it's Schalke, sometimes it's Leverkusen, it's been Frankfurt. There's always a third team in there. And then after that, Werder Bremen for a period of time as well. Wolfsburg done it for a little while. France doesn't have that. It's PSG and then the other teams. And I think that has a massive effect when you then are expected to play these big games. Players may be a little bit more rested, but actually they've not been playing at the level of intensity that they need to on a consistent basis.
No, definitely, yeah. There's a lot to be said for that. That kind of those war wounds of participating in highly competitive games, and doing that throughout a season, I think, does build a certain amount of mental toughness.
Yes.
You just kind of had to look at Manchester United when they completed the treble, and they had some really, really tough games on the lead up to that. Games where they shouldn't have won, but they did, and they come through them. And I think and I think quite a few of the players spoke out afterwards and said, going through those earlier in the season, towards the end of the season, we had that feeling that we can keep going on. We're not out of this. We're not out of this. So when obviously they're 1-0 down against Bayern Munich in the 89th minute, they still felt they could score because they've had that mental toughness from beginning of the season. So, yeah.
And you start running on adrenaline.
Yeah.
And
acting
just
on
don't see
instinct.
And you don't know. You just don't see where PSG players ever have to run on adrenaline, and when they do, it falls apart.
Yeah. So you're making a pretty convincing argument here for Manchester City with a comfortable win in this one across two legs, or do you see it being close in Paris?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's going to be a comfortable win. PSG have got players. There's no doubting they've got players there that can pull out something. But I think Man City will have enough to see them off. I think there'll be enough of a doggedness and a mental toughness in Man City to see off PSG.
And like you say, I think that they've got the players that have kind of been there and done it a bit more. And like we talked about earlier, with Kevin De Bruyne in the form of his life, I think that he's arguably one of the best players in Europe based on form at the moment. So I could see him taking that into the Champions League. I'm sure he'd want to do it for Manchester City as well. We've also got David Silva on his way out, things like that. There's a lot of things there for Manchester City to
Bernardo Silva's been good this season. Sterling at the start of the season, exactly.
Fernandinho. So many good players. So
the interesting point in this one is the two places where both teams are weak is at the back, and where their strongest is going forward.
Yep. So would hopefully make for a thrilling tie, but we will never know because it's all in fantasy world.
Yeah, it's all in make believe.
So now moving on to our fantasy semi-final draw with Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
Some cracking ties to come out of this.
Yeah, I mean, what upsets me is that this could have all gone hideously wrong at the first round. At the first point, we may have got who went through wrong and quarterfinals thrown out of the window before it even started.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that was correct on Soccerway. Yeah. Oh yeah, and that was with the postponed games. But
that's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know. I think we know enough about football. I think we know.
Yeah, we got this covered, mate.
And I made it, quite clear it was a virtual Champions League draw. I hope that
part of me doesn't want
this.
Yeah, part of me doesn't want football to resume in the Champions League because then we can say that no one would ever know and we were right. We could just sit here going, "We told you." Are we going to find a picture of the Champions League trophy and just send it to our winner?
I'm up for it. I'll do it.
Yeah, just send it to their club. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, you won the down the local Champions League.
Yeah. We've been doing a podcast and you are the winner.
So congratulations. Please accept this gift from us. I'm sure if it's Barcelona, they're just gonna. They'll probably send back a signed picture of Sergio Busquets, and they can keep it. So,
that'll keep you warm. Something to burn during the long cold nights.
I hope they do send it now. Okay, first team out of the hat.
Yes.
Atleti Madrid. Okay.
Yes.
First team. Okay. So to complete our first semi-final, will it be an all-Spanish affair? Who knows? Manchester City.
Do you know what?
What a game.
It was the only one I could see Man City beating.
Yeah.
So, we'll get into that in a minute, but yep.
Yep. Okay, so the first home team for the second one will be Bayern. And then it'll be a beginning away leg for Barcelona. Okay, so let's debate these. I don't want to debate the final, who would win the final, and I kind of don't want to pick winners from this.
Okay.
Or do we want to go all the way? Do we want to go crazy? It's up to you.
Go all the way?
Should we go all the way?
Well, we can't send a picture of the trophy to the club otherwise, can we?
Oh no, but it's, Champions League is still a little bit away,
I
want these teams to, to fear for it. You know what I mean? I want the psychological edge to come out.
Are we going to resume this at some point? Is that what we're saying?
Potentially. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
Semi-final discussion.
Don't know. Do we want to prolong the agony?
Oh, I don't know what. It's a cliffhanger, isn't it? It brings people back.
It does. I'll give you that.
You need the drums out.
Oh yeah, that's a great shout. And now we're just going to plug my next show.
Yeah.
Play out on that. I'll play in on it every week. No, people don't want to see that. They've already seen me do the Taylor Swift thing. That's enough.
Yeah, you posted that as well.
Yeah, sorry about that. Claire was like, "Oh, it's really good. You should do it. You should do it. Your nan would love to see that. I was like, oh,
I mean, it was quite good that you almost drowned out the Taylor Swift song.
Oh, what do you think I was trying to do?
Oh dear. Have we still got people on? Because I mean,
we do. We've only got a few. I mean, no one's piped up, and no one's been telling us this is a crock of shit. So
no, they're obviously loving it. I mean, normally when there's the draws of the Champions League and that, I turn off and just wait for the end bit.
Yeah, I do too.
Even on Football Manager, I don't watch it going along. Yeah, skip and just show me off guard. I don't care.
Couldn't give a hoot, mate.
Yeah, who have Oxford got in the League Cup? No one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. Exactly. Cambridge United? Nah.
Yeah. Unless, of course, that's who we draw. And then I'm happy.
Yeah. Should we just do it? You
want to go all the way?
Just do it. Let's just do this. Like, I'm happy just to run on for the next 15 minutes, and then we'll close up the show and then we'll argue about it.
I've still got quite a few people on the chat.
Have you?
Yeah. Not too sure who Linda XJP is, though.
I don't know.
She wants you to do a bit of promoting for her, mate.
Could show it.
I don't think she's on the chat anymore, though, so you know, she wasn't that interested, was she? I know it says 5, but it tells me lots more.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Meh. Is anyone actually on the chat? Is anyone listening? Do they want us to continue, or should we leave this for another day? Maybe we could get a three-way conversation with me, you, and Matt doing it. We could do our first ever three-way.
Wait.
No, everyone's gone silent. Everyone's too scared. What are we saying? Do we want to find out who our finalists are?
I thought, I was really up for it, but then the thought of having it
a bit of a cliffhanger, yeah. Like I say, and it gives time for the teams to train and prepare for this.
Exactly, yeah. They all need to have a little, they've not played for a while, have they?
That's what I mean. They need they need a spring break just to prepare themselves, have a little rest after this prolonged break.
Could set them up on the computer and let them play some virtual match between themselves and see how it goes.
Yeah, we could. I don't know.
I might do that.
Oh, Football Manager. It's good.
No. Use Pez.
Oh, okay. Cliffhanger. It looks like we're voting for a cliffhanger. Damn.
Oh.
You called it.
Yeah.
Mum called it.
Karen is all over the EastEnders ending. I'm your mum.
Right. We're gonna leave it there then. Let's do that.
Cool.
I'm up for that. We're gonna come back to this.
Yes.
We could do special. This is the end of the month as well. This is an end of month special.
It is, yeah, definitely.
So we leave it finally poised with Atletico Madrid hosting Manchester City in the first leg of the semi-final, and do we have what was it? Bayern Munich hosting Barcelona.
We have. Oh, I thought you said Barca were home.
Oh, okay, Barca hosting Barcelona. Sorry, I mixed the tickets up. My bad. So Barcelona hosting Bayern Munich.
Mm.
I'm gonna clip this. Let's clip this so I can. Yeah, we'll come back to this.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this. I want people to get involved and let me know who they think is going to win these ones. So, on that note, time to wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Neil, you've enjoyed 2 shows so far.
I have indeed.
There could be the potential for a hat-trick. I sincerely hope Matt is feeling better and he is back to resume his duties next week. But there's every potential that you could be back on it. How have you enjoyed the 2 shows so far?
Yeah. I mean, this one's worked. So, I mean, that's a massive step up from Monday.
Thank you, Virgin Media.
Yeah, cheers, mate. But no, it's been really good. Really enjoyed it.
Just to kind of talk about this a little bit. Going slightly off subject and talking about mental health. I know you've spoken to me before about this, and this is something that's helped with your mental health.
Yeah, definitely.
Given the times that we're in at the moment, how important is it to look at things like this?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think with mental health, the isolation side of things is awful. It doesn't. I mean, if you've got someone around, I'm lucky to have Doreen around, but I mean, even then, it's not the same. Yeah. From my point of view, I like being out and about and around people.
Yeah.
So I never thought I would say I miss going to work and into an office.
Yeah.
But I do. Because I'm sat in a room on my own all the time, and I genuinely feel today I don't know what other people think, but I genuinely feel this is the first thing I've said that I actually fully understood.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, it's good for that. It's talking about something that I enjoy. I would like to think I'm knowledgeable to an extent, but then by the same token, everything in majority of stuff in football is opinion. So
Correct.
everyone has some degree of knowledge because everyone has an opinion.
Yeah, I mean that was obviously one of the main premises for doing this is to kind
Yeah.
of have, you know, and why it's billed as Down the Local is that I know, obviously from a personal thing is, you know, we spend many weekends sitting there talking about football and talking about
Yeah.
these sort of things. It's kind of it's mine and your way of social interaction, you know, at quite an intense level. I'm quite a quiet person. I don't really interact very much, you know. So to go down and debate football in the pub is something that it certainly gets me talking a lot more than what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So, and that is kind of why, you know, I hope that this is kind of helping people talk, you know, in the chat, just to kind of get on to a like I say, something slightly different than what the actual football thing, you know. The time that we're in at the moment is very hard to interact with people and to be social. So I hope that in some way that doing this silly little chat on Twitch twice a week is helping people kind of get that social urge out. So
yeah, no, I agree, and I think, you know, in current times, I think people need to have that release from day to day, you know, especially if you're not having someone to talk to on a regular basis, if you haven't got that regular interaction. You know, watching TV and watching people on TV is fair enough, but actually when you're part of that conversation, irrelevant of whether it's through the chat or whether it's face to face or whatever, you know, I'd like to think that we're acknowledging what people are putting on the chat as quickly as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So, you know, we both appreciate there's a little bit of a delay, so it'll crop up and we probably talk about it maybe 30 seconds after it's appeared.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Because,
sorry.
Yeah, there is a delay from here, but people, it gives that sense of involvement.
Yeah.
And I think that is a key thing. I think having that sense of involvement is massive. You know, without football, I wouldn't have huge amounts of interest in anything. I think football keeps me sane. As much as it hacks me off and winds me up, it keeps me sane, because I can imagine how hacked off and wound up I'd be without it. So having the opportunity to come on here and do this with you as well has been really good.
Cool. No, I'm glad you've enjoyed it, and I'm sure we'll see you again in later episodes. And also, I've kind of dubbed you the champion of the chat. So so it doesn't matter who wins the Champions League. As far as I'm concerned, you're the champion out of this. So.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Anything you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
The champion.
Any last comments before we close this down?
No,
anything you'd like to say?
No, all good. Thank you for having me. As you say, hopefully Matt will make a full recovery, and be good for next time. But if not, I will resume my role.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone that is watching that hasn't already, right above my balding head, there is a little follow button. If you could just click on that, please, it'd be much appreciated. We do the Down the Local show every Monday and Thursday night at 7:30. You then get me playing drums on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then sometimes playing Xbox on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you are bored and you want to watch a load of old crap, then hit the follow button and watch some of the idiocy that I go through. Thank you again to Neil. Huge thank you, man. I certainly miss talking to you about football. So this has been a damn pleasure as always. I can't wait till this lockdown's over so we can get down the Gordy. So
yay!
Thank you everyone that's been talking in the chat. Thank you so much. I know it's been a little bit quiet tonight. I do apologise. I hope you enjoyed what you've been watching. Check out some of the crap down underneath where the player is. There's some interesting stuff down there if you are bored. So if not, I will see you again on Monday. Au revoir.
Cheers guys, bye.